The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor of my childhood home. My ex-husband's new girlfriend, blonde, 23, wearing a dress that cost more than my old Honda, laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen. My mother didn't even look up from her phone. "Clean that up, would you?" she said. To me, not to the woman who threw it. It was Christmas Eve. I was standing in the foyer of the house I grew up in, wearing a coat I'd owned for 6 years, and my entire family was treating me like the help. My ex-husband, Derek, had his arm wrapped around this girl's waist. He looked at me with that same smirk he wore the day he served me divorce papers. 3 years ago, when I had nothing. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the woman they were calling homeless trash had just landed a private Gulfstream G700 at the regional airport 20 minutes away. And I was about to ruin Christmas. Let me take you back. 3 years. Christmas Eve, different version of me. Derek filed for divorce 2 days before Christmas. Merry Christmas to me, right? We'd been married for 4 years. I thought we were building something. Turns out, he was building an exit strategy. His family had money. Old money. The kind that comes with country clubs and last names that open doors. My family? We were comfortable. Upper middle class. My dad owned a small chain of hardware stores. Nothing fancy, but we never went without. When I married Derek, I thought I was marrying a partner. Someone who saw me. Turns out, he saw a project. Someone he could mold. Someone who'd look good at charity galas and keep her mouth shut when his mother made passive-aggressive comments about my quaint background. The divorce was brutal. His lawyers were sharks. Mine was a guy named Ron who worked out of a strip mall and smelled like cigars. Derek's family made sure I walked away with the legal minimum. The house? His. The cars? His. The investment accounts we'd built together? Somehow, magically, his. I got $47,000 and a used Toyota Camry with 130,000 miles on it. His parting words to me, standing in that same foyer where I'm standing now, were, "You'll never be anything without me." You know that, right? I didn't cry. Not in front of him. I saved that for later, in my new studio apartment that smelled like curry from the Indian restaurant downstairs. But here's what Derek didn't know about me. What nobody knew. I'm really, really good at artificial intelligence. Not like, I can use ChatGPT good. Like, I can build algorithmic trading systems that predict market movements with terrifying accuracy good. Before Derek, before the marriage, I'd been working on something. A side project. A trading algorithm that used machine learning to analyze patterns in global markets. Stocks, crypto, commodities, everything. I'd been tinkering with it for years, but Derek always made me feel stupid about it. Your little computer hobby, he called it. After the divorce, I had nothing else. So I rebuilt it. Better. Faster. Meaner. I took that $47,000 and I fed it into my algorithm. 6 months later, I had $900,000. 1 year later, I had $40 million. 2 years later, I had $600 million. And 3 years after Derek told me I'd never be anything without him, I was sitting on a $10.3 billion empire. Hold on. Before I tell you what happened next, I need to know something. Are you the kind of person who stays for the whole story? Because most people quit. They get halfway through, get distracted, scroll to the next video. But something tells me you're different. You want to see how this ends. You need to see their faces when everything clicks. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. Because if you don't, you're going to lose this channel in the algorithm, and when you're lying in bed tonight wondering what happened, you'll have no one to blame but yourself. And if you're one of those people who refuses to subscribe, drop a comment and tell me why. Tell me why you'd rather miss the ending than tap a button. I'm genuinely curious. For 3 years, I stayed silent. I could have announced my success. I could have shown up at Derek's office, thrown my bank statements in his face, made a scene. But that's not revenge. That's therapy. And therapy is expensive when you don't need it. Real revenge is patience. I built my company, Axiom Intelligence, in complete stealth mode. No press releases. No flashy headquarters. Just me, a small team of developers, and servers scattered across 3 continents. We licensed our trading technology to hedge funds who paid obscene amounts of money to keep it quiet. They didn't want their competitors knowing they were using AI that made their human traders look like toddlers playing with toy blocks. The money came in waves, then tsunamis, then floods that would have drowned a smaller person. I bought real estate, tech startups, art, a small pharmaceutical company that was one breakthrough away from changing cancer treatment. I didn't buy yachts or mansions or any of the stupid stuff newly rich people buy. I bought power. And I waited. My family didn't know. After the divorce, they'd sided with Derek. Not officially, but in 1,000 small ways. My mother loved his family status. My father thought I'd given up too easily on the marriage. My younger sister, Amanda, had been best friends with Derek's sister since college. They weren't going to throw that away for me. So when Derek when Derek started dating Victoria, the Instagram model, my family embraced her. They invited Derek to Christmas, to Thanksgiving, to my father's birthday party. They stopped inviting me. I got phone calls, sure. You understand, honey, it's just easier this way. Less awkward. That was my mother. Always worried about what was easier. Never about what was right. I almost cut them off completely. But then I realized something. The best revenge isn't making people realize they were wrong about you. It's making them realize it in front of everyone they were trying to impress. So when my mother called 3 weeks before Christmas and said, in that careful voice she uses when she wants something, Derek mentioned you might not have plans for Christmas Eve. Why don't you come by? Just for an hour. Amanda's bringing her new boyfriend, and Derek will be there with Victoria. It would be nice to have the whole family together. Translation: we feel guilty about excluding you, but not guilty enough to actually change anything. Come play the role of pathetic ex-wife so we can all feel magnanimous about including you. I said yes. My assistant, Claire, thought I'd lost my mind. You're worth $10 billion, she said. Why would you voluntarily walk into a room full of people who treated you like garbage? Because I told her I need them to understand something. And understanding requires contrast. She booked the jet. I landed at 4 p.m. The party started at 6. I had Claire wait at the airport with the plane. If I'm not back by 8, I told her, come get me. Should I bring security? No. I don't need security. I need witnesses. I drove my old Camry to my parents' house. The same car from the divorce. Still ran. Why replace something that works? Derek's Porsche was in the driveway. Next to it, a white Mercedes SUV with a custom license plate, Victoria. I sat in my car for a moment, looking at the house. Christmas lights hung from the gutters. Through the window, I could see the tree, massive and perfect, decorated by the same woman my mother had hired for 20 years. Everything looked the same as it always had. Except me. I walked up to the door. Rang the bell. Amanda answered. She looked surprised. Oh, you came. Mom invited me. Yeah, I know, you look tired. I offered. I was going to say thin. Thin. Not good. Not healthy. Thin. Because in Amanda's world, thin meant struggling. I walked inside. The house was full. My parents. Amanda and her boyfriend, some guy named Chase who worked in finance. Derek's parents, Edward and Catherine, holding court by the fireplace like royalty visiting peasants. Derek's sister, Michelle. And Derek, standing by the bar with his arm around Victoria. She was stunning. I'll give her that. 23, Brazilian, with the kind of body that requires a personal trainer and a meal plan designed by someone with a nutrition degree. Her dress probably cost $8,000. Her shoes, another $1,200. Derek saw me first. His face did this thing, this micro-expression of surprise, then satisfaction, then pity. He walked over. Victoria followed, clicking across the hardwood in her heels. Hey, he said. Like we were old friends. Good to see you. You too. This is Victoria. Victoria extended her hand. Her nails were perfect. Little French tips with tiny crystals. Derek's told me so much about you. I'll bet he has. Nice to meet you, I said. My mother appeared, holding a glass of white wine. "Sweetie, I'm so glad you made it. Here, let me take your coat." I handed it to her. Underneath, I was wearing jeans and a sweater I'd bought at Target 4 years ago. The room did that thing rooms do when everyone notices something at once, but pretends they don't. Catherine, Derek's mother, smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "How are you doing, dear? Keeping busy?" "Very busy. Still doing your computer things?" "Something like that." "That's nice. It's important to have hobbies." "Hobbies. My $10 billion company was a hobby." Derek leaned against the bar. "Mom mentioned you might need help finding a new place. Your lease is up soon, right?" I hadn't told my mother that, which meant she'd been talking to Derek about me, discussing my life, my struggling, pathetic life. "I'm figuring it out," I said, "because if you need a reference or anything, I'm happy to help. I know some landlords who work with people in transitional situations." Transitional situations. He meant broke. Victoria touched his arm. "Babe, that's so sweet of you." Amanda joined us, Chase in tow. "What are we talking about?" "Just catching up," Derek said. "Seeing how everyone's doing." My father appeared with a bottle of scotch. "Derek, try this. Macallan, 25-year. Guy at the club recommended it." They started talking about whiskey. I stood there, invisible again. This was the moment. This was what they thought of me. The ex-wife. The failure. The woman who couldn't keep her husband, couldn't keep her status, couldn't keep anything. You still with me? Good. Because this is where it gets interesting. But let me ask you something. How many times have you watched a story like this, gotten invested, and then YouTube's algorithm just forgot you existed? You never saw how it ended. That's what happens when you don't subscribe. The algorithm assumes you don't care. It moves on. And you're left wondering, for the rest of your life, what happened in this room on Christmas Eve. So subscribe. Right now. Dinner was at 7. We sat around my mother's dining room table. The good china. The good silverware. Everything perfect. I was seated between Amanda and my father. Derek and Victoria were across from me. His parents were at the ends of the table, presiding like judges. The conversation flowed around me. Derek talked about his promotion at work. Victoria talked about her brand and her content strategy. Amanda talked about Chase's family's house in Aspen. My mother talked about the charity board she'd joined. Nobody asked me anything. Finally, Edward, Derek's father, cleared his throat. "So," he said, looking at me with what I think he thought was kindness. "What are you up to these days?" "Still living in that apartment downtown." "For now," I said. "Tough market," he said. "Rent's getting crazy everywhere." "It is." "Well, if you ever need help, you know Derek's family is always here for you. We don't forget the people who were part of our lives. The people who were part of our lives." Past tense. Victoria put her hand on Derek's. "We were actually just talking about this. I think everyone deserves a chance to rebuild. Get back on their feet." "That's very compassionate of you," I said. "I just think it's important to help people who are struggling. Like, I donate to homeless shelters all the time." The table went quiet. My mother laughed. Nervous. "Oh, Victoria, honey, she's not." "I know," Victoria said quickly. "I didn't mean it like that. I just meant, you know, people who are going through hard times." Derek squeezed her hand. Protective. "Babe, maybe we should." "No, it's fine," I said. "I appreciate the concern." Catherine leaned forward. "Have you thought about going back to school? Getting a degree in something practical? I know it's daunting at your age, but it's never too late to invest in yourself." My age. I was 36. "I'll keep that in mind," I said. Amanda tried to change the subject. "Who wants more wine?" But Victoria wasn't done. She'd had 3 glasses already. Her filter was gone. "I just think it's sad, you know? When people give up. Like, Derek told me you used to be really ambitious." "What happened?" The room froze. My father put down his fork. "Victoria, I'm just asking. Because I see these stories all the time on social media. Women who get divorced and just stop trying. And I think, why? Why let one man define you?" Derek's face went red. "Okay, that's enough. I'm just saying," Victoria continued, looking at me with what I think she thought was empathy. "You're still young enough to turn things around. You could meet someone new. Start over. I mean, you're not that old. Not that old. I smiled. You're right. See, Victoria said, looking around the table like she'd just solved world peace. That's the attitude. Derek looked at me. Something in his eyes shifted. Concern? Pity? Guilt? Actually, I said, I have been working on something. Building something. That's great, my mother said, eager to move past the awkwardness. What is it? A company. Oh, that's wonderful. What kind of company? Technology. Artificial intelligence, specifically. Trading algorithms. Edward chuckled. That's a tough space. Very competitive. It is. Well, good luck with it, he said. Like you'd wish someone luck with a lemonade stand. Victoria perked up. Oh my God, are you doing like a girl boss thing? That's so cute. I love seeing women support women. Cute. My company was cute. I checked my phone. Claire had texted, ready when you are. I stood up. Excuse me, I said. I need to make a call. I walked out to the foyer. Dialed Claire. Bring the car, I said. The Camry. No, the other car. 5 minutes. I walked back into the dining room. Everyone was talking again, the conversation flowing like I'd never left. Everything okay? My mother asked. Perfect, I said. Actually, I wanted to thank you all for inviting me tonight. Derek looked uncomfortable. Of course. You're always welcome. I wanted to tell you something. About that company I mentioned. Your startup. Edward said. That's great, really. It takes courage to try. It's not exactly a startup anymore. Oh, we went operational 3 years ago. Stealth mode. We've been licensing our technology to hedge funds, banks, investment firms. The table was listening now. We're currently managing about $400 billion in assets. Not directly. Through licensing. But our algorithms are powering trades across 17 countries. Catherine frowned. That's ambitious. The company's valuation as of last week is $10.3 billion. Silence. I'm sorry, Derek said. Did you say? $10.3 billion. That's what Axiom Intelligence is worth. My company. Edward laughed. Okay, that's a good joke. It's not a joke. My father spoke for the first time. Honey, are you feeling okay? I'm feeling great, Dad. Victoria looked at Derek. Is she serious? The doorbell rang. I smiled. That's my ride. I walked to the front door. Opened it. Claire stood there in a black suit, earpiece in, looking every inch the executive assistant to someone who matters. Miss Thorne, she said. The car is ready. Behind her, in the circular driveway, was a black Maybach S680. Not mine. Rented for the evening. Because symbolism matters. Behind the Maybach was a Tesla Model X, Claire's backup plan. And behind that, just visible in the distance, were headlights. 2 black SUVs. My actual security team, which I'd told to wait down the street. My family had come to the door. All of them. Staring. What is this? My mother said. I told you. I have a company. Derek pushed past them. This is insane. You can't just. Can't just what? Be successful? Build something? You're lying. I pulled out my phone. Opened my banking app. The one that requires both facial recognition and a fingerprint because the numbers in it are so big they need extra security. I held it up. Account balance, $847,329,442.18. That was just my personal checking account. That's photoshopped, Victoria said. Claire spoke up. Ms. Thorne is the founder and CEO of Axiom Intelligence. The company went public 2 weeks ago in a private offering. Current market cap is $10.3 billion. Ms. Thorne owns 73% of the company. Edward stared at Claire. Who are you? Claire Montgomery, Chief of Staff to Ms. Thorne. My mother looked like she might faint. This is real. Very real. Derek's face had gone white. You've been, this whole time? Yes. Why didn't you say anything? Because you wouldn't have believed me. None of you would have. And honestly, I didn't owe you an explanation. Catherine found her voice. How is this possible? I'm very good at what I do. Turns out, when you stop listening to people who tell you you're not good enough, you can accomplish things. Victoria looked at Derek. Did you know about this? Of course not. So your ex-wife is a billionaire and you're... She trailed off. I'm a VP at a consulting firm, Derek said quietly. Right. Amanda stepped forward. Why did you come tonight? If you're so successful, why come here and let us treat you like garbage? I finished. Because I needed you to see it. All of you. I needed you to understand what you did. Who you chose. You chose him. I pointed at Derek. You chose status over family. You chose comfort over integrity. And I needed you to sit with that. My father's voice cracked. We didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Let me stop right here and say something. If you're still watching this, you're exactly the kind of person I make these stories for. Someone who gets it. Someone who understands that revenge isn't about violence or spectacle. It's about truth. But here's the thing, 90% of people who watch this video won't subscribe. They'll watch, they'll feel something, and then they'll scroll away. And they'll never see another story like this. They'll miss the next one. And the next one. Until eventually, they forget this channel exists. Don't be that person. Subscribe now. Literally right now. Because if you don't, I guarantee you'll regret it. And if you won't subscribe, you'd better have a good reason. Drop it in the comments. Tell me why you're choosing to miss out. I'm genuinely curious what's worth more than a single tap. I should have left right then. Walked out. Driven away in the Maybach. Credits roll. But that's not how real revenge works. Real revenge requires aftermath. I'm leaving now, I said. But before I go, I want to make something clear. I don't need anything from any of you. Not apologies. Not explanations. Not relationships. I came here tonight because my mother invited me, and despite everything, I still believe in showing up when you're invited. Sweetheart, my mother started. I'm not finished. Derek, I hope you and Victoria are very happy together. Truly. You deserve each other. Mom, Dad, Amanda, I hope you enjoy your relationship with Derek's family. I know how much it means to you. My father stepped forward. Don't do this. Don't burn bridges. I'm not burning anything. I'm just acknowledging what's already burned. Catherine spoke up, her voice sharp. This is incredibly immature. I looked at her. Mrs. Morrison, with respect, you've spent 3 years treating me like I was an embarrassment to your son. A failure. Someone to be pitted. And you did it because I didn't have money. I didn't have status. I didn't have the things you value. Well, now I have all of those things. More than you'll ever have. And you know what I learned? Those things don't make you a better person. They just make other people treat you better. Which says a lot more about other people than it does about the things. Derek found his voice. So what, you did all this to prove a point? To make us feel bad? No. I did this because I'm good at it. Building things. Creating value. The fact that it also proves a point is just a bonus. Victoria grabbed Derek's arm. Let's go. This is crazy. But Derek didn't move. He was staring at me like he was seeing me for the first time. You really did it, he said quietly. Everything you used to talk about. The algorithms. The trading systems. I thought it was just talk. I know you did. I should have believed in you. Yes, you should have. He looked down. I'm sorry. The room held its breath. Thank you, I said. But I don't need your apology. I needed it 3 years ago. Now, it doesn't change anything. I walked to the door. Claire held it open. Behind me, I heard my mother crying. Amanda saying something to Chase. Victoria demanding they leave. I turned back one last time. Merry Christmas, I said. And then I left. The Maybach was warm. Leather seats. Heated. Claire sat in front with the driver. How do you feel? She asked. Empty, I said. I thought I'd feel something. Satisfaction. Vindication. Something. Maybe that's the point. What do you mean? Revenge doesn't actually fix anything. It just shows you what was already broken. We drove in silence. Past the Christmas lights. Past the houses full of families who loved each other, or pretended to. My phone buzzed. A text from Amanda, please call me. Then my mother, we need to talk. Then my father, I'm sorry. Then, surprisingly, Michelle, Derek's sister. You were always too good for him. I'm glad you won. I turned off my phone. We drove to the airport. The Gulf Stream was waiting, lit up against the dark runway. Beautiful. Expensive. Mine. Where to? Claire asked. Somewhere warm. I'll file a flight plan for Turks and Caicos. Perfect. I boarded the plane. I sat in the leather seat that cost more than my first car. Accepted a glass of champagne from the flight attendant. As we took off, I looked down at the city. Somewhere down there was my family. Derek. Victoria. All of them sitting in that dining room, processing what just happened. And I realized something. The best revenge isn't making people feel bad. It's making yourself feel nothing. 3 years ago, they had power over me. They could hurt me, reject me, make me feel small. Now, they're just people. People who made choices that revealed who they were. And I'm someone else entirely. Someone who doesn't need them, doesn't want them, doesn't even think about them unless it's Christmas Eve and I need to prove a point. The pilot announced we'd reach Turks and Caicos in 4 hours. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow, I'd wake up on a beach. I'd swim in water so clear you can see the bottom. I'd eat food I can't pronounce. I'd do absolutely nothing. And Derek would wake up next to Victoria, in his nice house, with his good job, and he'd realize something he should have known 3 years ago. He married the wrong woman. He let go of the only person who actually loved him for who he was, not what he had. And now she's gone. Not because she's bitter. Not because she's angry. But because she's busy. Building empires. If you made it this far, you're exactly who this channel is for. You understand that the best stories aren't about people who scream about their success. They're about people who build it in silence and reveal it when it matters.